Hello teacups, what's brewing? Welcome back to channel. As you can see, I'm not in my colourful wool area, which means I'm doing my makeup. I'm currently at my makeup station. I had a whole thing where I bought a mic for my next video and I was quite excited to try and use it. I was figuring it out and now I'm not using it because I'm not in my regular setup. Hopefully the next react I do, you'll be able to hear the mic and see if it's any better. I'm still having some issues where I'm getting an echo through the earphones, but it's not coming up in the recording, so we'll just see if we can manage that. But thank you to everyone who helped me with it, even though I'm not currently using it. I just wanted to do my makeup because I've got to go grocery shopping, so it's just going to be a very simple look today, nothing too massively colourful. I'm probably going to be using the Natasha Denona Retro palette and just putting my face on. But I thought that we would maybe chat about Chantal while I did it, because I have looked through some of the hours of live stream and it just doesn't feel worth cutting down, you guys. I currently have very limited time, and as condescending as this sounds, and I do recognise that it sounds like me going, look, I'm so important, I can't possibly spare the hours, but I don't have time to cut down all of the nonsense that I've missed. But it's the weekend for me right now, so this is really when I have time to put something out at the moment. I've tried doing it during the week. I keep looking over there because that's where the camera is, but that's where the lens is. I'm going to go back and forth through this whole thing. I apologise. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I don't have time during the week. I get home, I'm exhausted, I take some kind of nap, and then I get to work or doing whatever I need to do. I don't have the mental energy to be cutting down videos and things. It does take hours and hours, and this is just easier. So thank you for listening. If you are still here, if you're not here, if makeup's not for you, if you prefer the straight reacts, I understand. Everything I'm going to talk about, I'm sure, is available everywhere else at the moment, so go do your thing. I got a few notes. I'll just try and remember all the parts because it's been a little while. On one hand, kind of a lot has happened, and on the other, I feel like we've made no progress whatsoever, which is basically Chantal's life at this point. Sorry, I was just looking for my thing and I put it here. So I'm just going to prime my face. I've got my other wig on just because it doesn't have a fringe, so that means that it doesn't tend to get in my eyes when I'm doing my makeup on camera. Usually I just take it off to be able to do this, but hey, I'm not living the Chantal life at the moment, so there we go. Maybe one day, who knows. But I just want to put this on real quick, and this is an easier way to do it. I'll change to the old one once I'm done. I am also sipping coffee. All right, where did we leave off? I think my voice is still trash, by the way. I think we left off when she was taking her trip to Windsor, I believe that was, yeah. So that was a bit of a disaster, wasn't it? I was actually very, very shocked she didn't take Nada. I was fully willing to bet on him being there, and then he wasn't. So on one hand, I was willing to give her props for that. And she talked a lot of game during the run-up to Windsor, during the trip itself, about how she would know this was a new leaf, she was a boss bitch, she didn't need him. And I did momentarily, you guys, I know I've been here too long to be doing this, but I momentarily had hope, even if she wasn't really the boss bitch she was showing herself to be, that maybe this could potentially be the beginning of the end of the Nada. Oh, I was wrong. I was wrong. I admit I was wrong. It's one of those things. But I live in hope, even when the hope is not likely. So she talked a lot of game, and then it turned out that she was giving him money on the side because she fully expected to go back, and then realised that Dee Dee was there, and hey. And now we're in modern day. The trip to Windsor itself, I'm not against her going and collabing with other people. I think it gives her new content. It was one of the more interesting things she's done in a while, especially as she did it without Nada, even though Nada did end up colouring the trip, which we'll get into. But I wouldn't be against seeing more of it. I miss vlogs. I know she did a vlog, but half the vlog was like, this is the trip up, and oh, I've forgotten. I've forgotten to vlog a lot of it. She had done live streams in between, but man, I'm sick of live streams. It's why I didn't go to live streams myself, quite aside from the element of I prefer being able to edit myself when needed. It takes a lot of time. It's a lot of time, and I'd rather just edit down my thoughts as I want to. I'm not really doing anything new on my face. I did use the Professional Hydrating Primer from Benefit because I ran out of my other primer and I was waiting for it to come in the mail. I usually use the e.l.f. one. Oh. One thing I always forget about this camo concealer is how far it goes. So I put a dab on and then I'm like, oh, concealer for days. I'll cover it up with powder. It'll be fine, you guys. Sorry about that. Started coughing. It's always good. I'm not sick, I promise. Well, I say I'm not sick. I took a test a week ago to check because I've been in school and my class is on online learning, so I've got too many COVID cases in it at the moment. So I'll do another self-test on Saturday to make sure I'm safe to go back to building. Fortunately, we'd had a long weekend in between, so the kids that were out hadn't been in contact with us for like 4 days. So we'll just have to see how it goes, my dudes. But as I said last week, my voice is a little bit wrecked anyway, so it is what it is. The overwhelming thing that stuck out to me from what I watched in Windsor, because full disclosure, I tried to click into the video she did as a collab with, God, hair everywhere, with a collab with Carly, and oh no, there's something so awkward about any social interaction she has, because she has so few of them with people she just doesn't really know. Yes, Carly and her have talked online, but whenever she goes on camera, it's incredibly awkward, and the secondhand embarrassment is real. So I was just like, sorry my dudes, I can't watch this. So I went through, I clicked through it, but I didn't really stop because I could see how awkward she was being, and didn't watch the rest. But what did stick out to me a lot was when she started crying about Nada. Guys, when she's like, no, he loves me and you know he does. Oh, no, speaking of embarrassment. No, honey, no. And the next day, she pretended like she didn't remember any of this. But funnily enough, she could remember the stuff she wanted to refute. And the rest, oh no, guys, I was just so drunk. And she was drunk. She was drunk for the whole thing. And who thought that was a good idea? But she's so under the influence at every other time, I suppose. I suppose it just came naturally to her. And she was like, no, look how great I am and look how much fun I'm having, rather than let's maybe keep our wits about us. Excuse me while I sped up, just putting my eyebrows on there. Some things you just can't do and talk at the same time. So then, of course, it turned out that she had been talking to him through the whole thing when she was like, I am a boss bitch. I am this girl. I can do this without him, which was a slightly grating, but at the same time, slightly gratifying in the fact that I was like, oh, please let I am a strong, independent woman who actually does things without him be the next step, please, which of course it wasn't. It turned out that she had been talking to him in the hotel and had sent him, was it $250? Oh, for fuck's sake. My dear, no, that's not what that is. Yeah, I got a new primer and I can't decide if I like it because I used it, but with an eyeshadow set that I don't love as much, so it oxidized quite badly. So I'm going to try it with the Natasha Denona and see if it also oxidizes, in which case I will change back the primer. Just MAC didn't have the color I wanted in because I usually use their paint pots. So this is the NYX Ultimate Base, and we're going to see if I can just pat it out and let it dry down, and then maybe I won't have that problem. I might have applied the other shadow when it was a little bit too wet still, so we're going to just leave it to completely do its thing. Okay, let that dry down. Let's go for, what colours am I using today? Let's go for a blush. So yeah, I'm really sick of the Nada cycle, as are we all. We are all pretty burnt out. I'm not saying it didn't give us some content in its day, but the back and forth, I think we're all just kind of done with. Dude, my dude, just let it go. Let it go fully, yeah? So that's sort of where, ooh, that was a lot. All right, it's fine. We're running with it. I'll top it with some highlighter and then just break it down with the blush. I just want it in the right place. Break it down with the blush, break it down with the face powder. So we got back from Windsor, and I know there have been things in between. There was a lot of rage. Dee Dee was there. I can't believe I sent you money. I can't believe you still can't believe it. I can't believe your behavior is so predictable and you still get surprised. But speaking of that, the being reinfected with the clap. I'm like, oh. So either she still had the infection from last time because she's kind of shit at doing any medication, or she's been reinfected. Both are equally likely, simply because one, she didn't finish her medication properly the first time, and two, do you think she really went and changed any of her behaviors? Do you really think she went and they started using condoms? Do you really think? No, I don't believe so. You can't convince me. I'm sorry, you can't. So there's no reason for anything else to have changed, you know? So we had that stream, like Miranda, Madeleine, somebody called, checking my notes, I don't even know if the notes are right, where someone from the STD clinic called and she was like, I can't believe you didn't tell me. I can't believe you're surprised. And she really thought she was showing him, it was only about a 15-minute stream, but she really thought she was showing him up, being like, wouldn't you be mad? This is just to embarrass him. He's not embarrassed. He's not embarrassed. You already told everyone you're not making anything worse for anyone but yourself. Yeah, because the thing she thinks she's doing, she's making herself look like a fool more than him. Because she's like, I can't believe you went back. Again, all his behavior, everything he's done over the last however many months, why are you surprised by this? And she is surprised by this every single time. She's like, I do all these things for you, I give you all this money, and you just don't care. Yes, so cut it off. Like, that is it. And she asked a question in one of her recent ones. Was it the winner wore green, or was it this one? I can't remember which. Oh, that's going to irritate me now. I was watching the winner wore green as I was getting ready, so I may not have all the details from that. I don't think I finished it, but everything kind of runs in together, and she makes the same point, so I don't suppose it matters either way. But she asked the question, why didn't he work harder to hold on to me then? He's so stupid. And then she makes the point that she's not done. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but wrong on both counts, I think. Yeah, because think about Nada, like, he's not looking for her love. Yeah, we've established that quite a lot. He's not doing anything out of the emotion of it all, other than occasionally getting so angry he's baiting her on live stream with Dee. And I do think that is completely baiting. I don't think it's anything else, because she takes the bait every time. She's very, very easy to trigger, and I think he just finds it fun to watch, because what he wants is just to know, like, he wants all the stuff she gives him, which she gives him regardless of what else he's doing, so why does he need to try? But he wants the power of knowing that he's living in her head, and she proves it every time she turns on the camera, no matter what she's saying. So the only thing that's going to help her with that is complete silence, and it's the one thing that she's utterly incapable of doing. So until she learns that, nothing is going to change in that regard. I was hoping, naively maybe, but I was hoping so much that there would be a limit to this, and there really just isn't. We've said before, she doesn't have, what am I doing with this? She doesn't have a rock bottom, and I think this just showed it. She sent him money while another woman was there. Like, she didn't know that Dee was there until after she'd sent it, so whatever, but she's still crying and raging, because ultimately she wants the closure of him admitting that he was wrong, and he'll never do it because he doesn't believe he's wrong. And even if he is, even if he knows it deep down, even if he's willing to acknowledge it, he doesn't care. He doesn't care because he's still getting what he wants. So in terms of stupidity, is he really stupid? He doesn't even have to pretend to like you, and he's still getting all the financial benefit of being with you. And I know she said, okay, no, I've cut off his phone and all the rest of it, but how long is that going to last? Really? I don't think that long. I would love this to be the breakup stream. I want to be wrong in this, but she's desperate enough for the closure and the attention that she won't disengage fully from him. She won't make that choice. And when people were calling her out on that, yes, she was fairly high, to be honest, but they sent us a couple of super chats being like, he doesn't care, excuse me, being like, he doesn't care, and for the love of God, grow some balls. Like, grow some balls and let it go. And she literally just went, I can't read your super chats right now, I'm so sorry. This was in her most recent one. Apparently in between, she tried to go live on OnlyFans. That was the new thing. She tried to go live on OnlyFans, and apparently the chat stopped working or something. I am not subscribed to her OnlyFans. I will not be subscribed to her OnlyFans. I do not want to see her on OnlyFans, and I'm not interested in giving her any money. Frankly, she said that people had signed up, and look how amazing it was. Like, a lot of you have signed up. Guys, what are you doing right now? I know there are some people that support her. I know there are some people that just want to react to her, but no. Consider what she does with the money that people give her on YouTube. Why give her another platform and another source of income, especially if you're already paying for one on YouTube that you're not getting the value of? Why would you trust her with this at all? I personally wouldn't, but then I suppose to each their own. Everyone can spend their money their own way, but it's not a thing that I understand at all. I don't know how long ago this happened, but I did see a picture on Twitter that I think had been taken from the farms, showing that she had increased her price on OnlyFans as well. So her current OnlyFans is an aborted live stream from the looks of it because of some problem with her chat, and a price increase. Like, we can see where this is going. Please do not be taken in by this. Yeah, you want to follow her on OnlyFans, do what you want with your money, but be aware that you're probably just throwing it down the drain. And frankly, given what she does with it, you're probably better off throwing it down the drain, which may be harsh, but it's still true. Speaking of the OnlyFans, we're having discussions about Mo again. She was, I think, based on like her live stream before the OnlyFans to kind of bait it, she was saying something about either Mo or another guy. Just in case anyone needs to hear that, I don't think this guy exists. Yeah, Mo was disproven. Well, the text messages that she was showing to prove his existence were proven to not be true. So why you would believe it now, I'm not sure. They were taken from some site that she cut down. Remember I talked about her suspicious crops? We've had a look at that before. So every time she's angry and she wants to prove she has other options in a bid to make him jealous, she says, okay, no, I'm talking to another guy. This is no exception. She wants people to come over to OnlyFans to get the story. So this is what she's saying. I don't believe it for a single second. I don't think it's true. She may have had other guys she blocked in the past, but this guy, I'm so sick of hearing about it. I'm like, dude, just give up. Pretend you've got a new guy. But this is not real, okay? Something she was saying about the new guy, though, conveniently enough. He was like, oh, come over, and then she said yes. Assuming this story happened anywhere but her head. But this is the excuse she was given. And she was like, oh, I can't because I'm quarantining. Which, by the way, is she though? When she had active cold and flu symptoms, she wasn't quarantining. But for this, the thing that prevents her going from a clinic and getting tested, the thing that prevents her having to prove this guy exists, this she'll quarantine for? But apparently she told him, sure, and then was like, oh no, I need to cancel on him. Like, what are you doing? If you went, you've got potentially the clap again. What are you doing? And if you went, you potentially have COVID, even though it's probably the clap. You know, there's a lot of reasons to not go. So if he's real and you're promising this, why are you doing that? If he's not real and this is all a lie, why are you doing that? Oh my goodness. And and this is in between like rages about Dee and Nada. And every time she opens her mouth on the topic, she shows herself up, because everything she's making fun of Dee for doing, she has done. She has done and continues to do. And Dee, whatever her motivations, whether they're sleeping together, whether they're not, they're both obviously invested in triggering her, because I guess it's fun, because it gets views, because it just, you know, it's something they are choosing to do for whatever reason, and it's working. And it kills her that it's working. It kills her that with less effort than she's put in, that Dee seems to be getting better treatment. And she literally pays for the treatment she gets. So I can see why it sticks in her craw, but at the same time, the exchange of money, even though, like, she's trying to buy a service from Nada that he's not selling, you know? She's like, oh, as if she was promised something, as if he's a product she can return. Goddamn, she should return him. But it was never on offer. And she's still paying, even though they're like not together, you guys. She's paying for what? The potential of the opening for her to go in and him to completely change his behaviors? No, it's not going to happen. and it goes on and on and on. Sorry everybody, I just had to do my eyeliner. It's not something I can hold a conversation while doing. So that was that. I want to talk a little bit about her ignorance. She says she's not stupid. I think she's ignorant. Put my mascara on, but I've just had to stop because I keep trying to record this section and I'm not getting my thoughts out very well at all. Like I don't think I'm losing focus as I go, and it's not really making my point. So I'm just going to try and get through this section. But she is ignorant in a number of ways in her life. Emotionally, she's underdeveloped and she has a very young view of some very adult things. And I suspect that is pretty systemic, going in through her childhood up to her adulthood. And this is the kind of stuff she needs to unpack with a therapist. She really does. The way she chases him, the reason she chases him, the fact that she's so angry and it causes her to sob online, the way she's responding emotionally, and the standards she has for certain relationships and where she is in them really needs to be discussed with a professional and unpacked so that she can change those behaviors. She will not do that, but it does need to happen. But let's look at the other benchmarks in her life. Financially, she's a mess. Is she earning a lot of money? Yes. Is she wasting a lot of money? Yes. Is she still somehow, despite earning all that money, in a very financially precarious situation? Yes. Both in the case of her taxes, both with the money she's funneling into Nada. She's not running around trying to raise the price of her OnlyFans, trying to put other tiers of membership because she's not worried about money. Think of all the jokes she's made about it in the last few months, about her credit card nearly being maxed, about her needing to get a computer but somehow not, even though she can blow $2,000 on an iPad for him, needing to have a budget and asking Orange Chicken every other minute, how much do we have left in the budget, when she's just ignoring it and yet spending thousands. We've seen it showcased on camera. And that's really the problem. It's the problem that she's showcasing it on camera. This is one of the reasons why, for her personally, the live stream era needs to end. And it won't, because she finds it easy to do. But she shows herself up. Is it possible she has a completely different persona behind the camera? Theoretically, yes. But she shows us too much for it to be convincing. Yeah? If she were just filming videos and then the odd thing came out, she could apologize and pretend it was a slip. It doesn't happen because it keeps being repeated. When she said that Nada looked like he had AIDS, it was a throwback to when she initially got infected and she was like, maybe he had a male partner. Because if someone gets a sexually transmitted infection, clearly what men are dirtier, which is basically the point she was making. And you're like, excuse you. And I know Pulpy went over that pretty thoroughly at the time in terms of why that was so important. So feel free to go and rewatch that part of his. He also mentions her description of Nada in his last video and his response to it, which will be a lot more full than mine, because he is a lot closer to it as an issue, being a gay man. Anyway, and the impact it will have, the impact that those stereotypes have on anyone else in the gay community. So we've got emotional relationships, we've got financial relationships, we have her social structure is very, very limited. And the fact that she feels a constant need to get attention online, that is something that generally speaking, people tend to grow out of as they get older, because they start being more okay with themselves, if that makes sense. Like, how do I put that? A sign of me getting into my 30s was me giving less of a fuck about what people thought, quite frankly. I'm 38 years old. I give a fuck what you think of my wig. I give a fuck what you think of whatever I'm doing. Because you become more comfortable being happy with yourself, and you rely less on people's image of you to take your own happiness. In general, obviously, we live in a social media world, and that tends to emphasize the need to look perfect, which is a whole nother issue. But she relies almost exclusively on her chat for all the relationships other people build in life. and it's incredibly damaging for her. So we've gone through this before, and again, I'm getting off topic, but I can't stand to re-record this section again. But I think in many ways she's ignorant. It's really the comeuppance of that. By any measurable benchmark in her life, she is falling short of what people generally consider to be adult responsibilities. So is she choosing that ignorance? In some ways, in the language she uses, that can be changed. And even in things that are more deep-rooted, she has the time and the opportunity to make the changes to help her deal with that as well. And they're much longer term and they're much slower, but she's also not choosing to better herself in that way. She gave a fake apology recently saying she needed to do better. Yeah, do better. Because what you're showcasing right now, if you're going to argue you're not ignorant, you need to show that more than you say it. Because what you're showing tells a very different story. And I will think she is stupid until she shows us something different, quite frankly. So yeah, guys, I'm struggling with reacts at this point. I mean, it feels like the circles are getting tighter and tighter. You know, a little bit like when you see water go down the drain. It feels like she's hitting the final spin. But we keep saying that, and she keeps surviving. Like, all her medical issues that have magically disappeared, she just keeps going with them. So who really knows how much she can survive? In someone with a better developed sense of self, I would say at some point there is a point where you realize that it's not worth it. It is not worth chasing this person. And I would advise any friend of mine, and eventually they would hit a point where they're like, no, I can't keep doing this to myself. And she's not there and may never be there because she doesn't have anything else developed that she can rely on. She doesn't have a sense of self-respect, dignity. Both of those seem so harsh to say, but yeah, she's got no pride of her own, because all the things that she thinks she's going to get from the relationship, if she just pays enough, if she just shows up enough, she's never actually going to get, but she desperately wants. And I think really at the end of it, she's just afraid that it's a monkey needing his paw on another branch. I think she's just afraid if she lets go of this awful situation, but relationship nonetheless, if she lets go, there isn't going to be another branch there. Because she really went into it with the Tinder stuff. She tried, and this is what she got. But then when she went into Tinder, she went in saying she wasn't looking for a relationship. So who knows what would happen if she actually went out and looked. But I think that would be much more damaging to her if she, the word failed isn't right here, but if she didn't end up finding somebody, I think that would hurt her more, because she would have genuinely tried. Oh yeah, I'm with an absolute arsehole, but you know, I was just looking for sex. It's something much easier to recover from than I genuinely put my whole self out there and people didn't want it. And until she can be comfortable being by herself, and this is something I've said before, until she's happy with herself, she's never going to be happy in a relationship. Okay, I'm going to cut this down into something that hopefully somewhat makes sense. If it's a little bit rambling, apologies for all of that. It's the same whenever I do one of these things. It's difficult to do. Oh, I got to change my hair. 1 second. Haha, I am myself again. Okay, guys, excuse the rambling, and I will sign off and try and edit this down. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.